Hey, fourth grade, today we're working on pages 77 to 78 or wherever the next two pages of your journal is. And today's lesson is called Module 3, Lesson 32, Story Problems Continued. Because we've already done a day of story problems, but let's review some of the skills that we did on that day. Whenever you're ready, you're going to find your next two open pages. Pause if you need extra time. Before we begin, let's fix a little typo that's in your objective. It says, I can solve multi-digit division word problems. Well, all of the division that we've been doing has multiple digits in our dividends, so let's take out those words. Today we're focusing on solving division word problems. Problem number 1. We all know that there are 7 days in a week. How many weeks are in 259 days? Remember, if you want to be a beast at word problems, you have to start as a cub. Circle your numbers and units. 7 days. 259 days. Underline your question. How many weeks are in 259 days? And let's box our math action words, those words that give us clues of what we should be doing. So I'm going to box the word week because I think that that's going to be an important unit to remember. I'm going to box it again. And I'm going to box the words are in. Because I know weeks are a type of group, so I'm asking how many groups are in that number. All right, now that we've cubbed out our problem, let's represent it in a picture. We're going to draw a tape diagram, much like we practiced in lesson 31. The whole tape diagram represents our whole number, and our whole number inside a division sentence is our dividend. So that means that this entire tape diagram represents whichever whole number we think is in our entire word problem. Looking at the numbers we circled, we have there's 7 days in a week. How many weeks are in 259 days? Since this is the whole number that we're breaking into groups of weeks, then our entire tape diagram represents 259 days. We're trying to figure out how many groups are in 259 days if each group is worth 7 days. So let's label this first section 7 days. It's up to us to figure out how many of these groups there are in total. We're going to solve using division. Our dividend is the number that's inside of the house, 259. Our divisor knocks on the door, 7. I'm going to write out my steps. Divide, multiply, subtract. Bring down, start over. Divide, multiply, subtract. Bring down, start over. All right. First, my number answering the door is 2. 2 divided by 7. I can't break two things into 7 groups. Remember, if your first number answering the door is smaller than your divisor knocking on the door, you look at the first 2 digits instead. 25 divided by 7. How many groups of 7 are in 25 without going over? 7, 14, 21. If I do another group of 7, that's too much. So I'm going to put 3 as my quotient. Now remember that when we circle our first 2 digits to divide, we put our quotient number over the ones in the 2 digits. We imagine that there's a little invisible placeholder 0 right here. Now that I've divided, I'm going to multiply. 3 times 7 equals 21. Now it's time to subtract. 25, take away 21 is 4. And I'm going to bring on down my 9. And I'm going to start over. When I start over, I circle my new number to divide. This time we're dividing 49 by 7. How many groups of 7 can I pull from 49? 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49 is 7 groups. Multiply. 7 times 7 equals 49. Subtract. There's nothing for me to bring on down, and there's nothing for me to start over. So my quotient is 37. There are blank weeks in blank days. Remember that weeks are broken into groups of 7. That's why our divisor was 7. So there are 37 weeks in 259 days. When you're ready, move on to your next page. Your next problem says, Mrs. Boswell bought 4th grade a container of 588 M&Ms. If there are 3 classes in 4th grade, how many M&Ms would each class get if they shared equally? Circle our numbers in units. We have 588 M&Ms. 3 classes. Now keep in mind, just because this is written in word form doesn't mean it's not an important number. I'm still going to circle 3 classes in 4th grade. How many M&Ms would each class get if they shared equally? How many M&Ms would each class get if they shared equally? Let's box our important words. Mrs. Boswell bought 4th grade a container, which means that this is our whole number. Our container is filled with 588 M&Ms. If there are 3 classes in 4th grade, how many M&Ms would each class get if they shared equally? I boxed the number each to tell me I'm forming smaller groups, and shared equally tells me that if I have a remainder, I have to keep in mind that one class doesn't get the remainder while the other classes do not. Let's represent this problem in our picture. Let's pretend that this tape diagram is our container of M&Ms. All of the M&Ms go inside of it, which means that we're going to label our whole tape diagram 588 M&Ms. Now, we're wondering if we split it into groups of 3, because we have 3 classes, if we divide it into 3 classes, 1 for 1 class, 1 for 1 class, 1 for 1 class, 2 for 1 class, 2 for 1 class, 2 for 1 class, 3 for 1 class, 3 for 1 class, 3 for 1 class. How long would it take us to pass out these M&Ms equally to all 3 classes? And would we have a remainder? Well, let's solve using division. Our divisor knocking on the door is 3, and our dividend whole number is 588. I'm going to write out my steps. Because I have 1, 2, 3 numbers inside of my dividend, and I know that this number is not small enough that we have to combine it with its next digit, I know I'm going to have to go through my long division steps 1, 2, 3 times. All right, let's start with step 1, divide. 5 divided by 3. If I skip count by 3s, 3. That's the only group I can get in 5 without going over. Multiply. 3 times 1 is 3. Subtract. 5 minus 3 is 2. Bring it on down. And start over. 28 divided by 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. I gotta stop there or I'm gonna go too high. 27 is 9 groups. Multiply. 9 times 3 equals 27. Subtract. Bring it on down. And start all over again. 18 divided by 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6. Multiply. 6 times 3 is 18. Subtract. 18 minus 18 equals 0. There's nothing for me to bring down, so there's nothing for me to start over. There are 196 in each group. We don't even have a remainder, so that means that we can share all 196 M&Ms equally. Each, typo, let's fix this, each class could have 196, don't forget to finish your unit here, 196 what? Kittens? Lamborghinis? M&Ms. That's the end of our notes today. It's time for you to take your picture and good luck on your problem set.